Okay. Well, so first question is, for example, okay, so this is the circuit. Can you see the diagram? Well, so let this is be E1, E2, E3. Let the values are R1, R1, R1. Here it is R2, R2, R2 and R2. So values of given terms are like this. R1 is 3 ohm, R2 is 4 ohm, okay. E1 is 20 volt with 1 ohm as internal resistance. This one is having internal resistance also. I am not marking it separately, okay. This is 20 volt with 1 ohm internal resistance. E2 is 12 volt 1 ohm, and E3 is 24 volt 1 ohm. Got this one? Do you understand this is the diagram? So let there are points A, B, D. I have marked the point as A, B, D, okay. So what you have to do, you have to find VAB, VBD, okay, and the terminal voltage of E1, E2 and E3. All three batteries which have marked here in this diagram, you have to find the terminal voltage of all three batteries. All three are having their EMF as well as the internal resistance as well. All three batteries given here are having internal resistance along with the EMF value. So we have to get the terminal voltage, and all external resistances values are given. So now we have to find potential difference from A to B and that between from B to D. So let's find. So try this one and tell me what will be the answer. Yes, Sriram, what will be the answer? Out of the three batteries given here, do you think that current can be drawn from all three? Sriram and Prathamesh, do you think that current can be drawn from all the three batteries given here in the circuit? Current cannot be drawn from E2. According to the diagram, current cannot be drawn from E2. The question is why? Because see that whenever we draw current from a DC source, we know that according to the constant potential difference across its terminals, that is as per the EMF of the battery, whatever the current we draw from the battery, we need to give it back the same amount of current. Whatever the current we assume is a current drawing I, we need to give it back to the same current I, then only the potential difference or EMF, that does mean the value of EMF. Electromotive force remains constant means it works on the principle of conservation of current is what? Rate of flow of charge. So whatever the charge that will be drawn from the circuit, okay, so that charge has to be given back to the cell so that the total charge remains conserved. So based on that principle, if we draw current from this one as I1, so I can consider that I1 current flows in this way and it comes back to the first cell, that is E1. Though here the junction rule is applicable, here the current which is coming this from this point reaching at A, you may think that current can split at this junction going partly this way and rest of it. So then what happens if I1 splits here at this point? So the amount of current which will be coming back for the battery will be lesser in value, then charge cannot remain conserved, the rate of flow of charge, I mean like whatever the amount of charge flown will be taken, we will be returning it back a lesser amount of charge. So that is not permissible. So that's why whatever the current drawn from the battery, the I1 which is flowing these two resistors must pass through this. That means no splitting of current can be done from this part of the circuit at A. Similarly, if I consider I2 be the current drawn from the battery, that is E3, so here also the same I2 current should be flowing in the closed loop operated by E3. No current can be again splitting at B. So that means in this junction from A to B, though there is one resistor, one battery is shown, but no current will be flown through this branch between A and B. Got my point? So therefore we can here write down the value of I1 in the loop 1 will be E1 divided by the total resistance. So total resistance means internal resistance plus sum of 3 external resistors given here. So all resistors are 3 ohm each. So 3 plus 3 plus 3, 9 plus 1, 10 ohm. And value of E1 is suggested 20. So 20 by 10, that means 2 ampere will be the value of current I1 flowing in the loop 1. Got my point? Okay. Exactly same way I can calculate the value of I2 from this loop. I2 will be again E2, the E3. E3 divided by the total resistor. So total resistor means 3 external resistors along with 1 internal. So 3 external resistors means it will be how much? They are R2 4 each. So 3 into 4 12 plus 1 13 and applied voltage is 24. So it will be 24 by 13 ampere. That will be the current flowing in the second loop operated by the battery of EMF. 24 volt is given, right? So after knowing the current in the respective loop, now we are concerned about calculating, see, so far as the terminal voltage is concerned, across E1, across this battery, EMF value is 24 volt and current is going from negative to positive terminal. So that means terminal voltage, we can write down terminal voltage of E1, that can be written 20 volt minus 2 into 1. Internal resistance of the battery of E1 is 1 ohm and the current which is flowing through it is 2 ampere. So 20 volt terminal voltage potential difference EMF will be positive from positive terminal to negative terminal, minus current is going negative to positive, so negative potential drop will be recorded across the internal resistance. So here it will be 18 volt. 18 volt will be the terminal voltage across E1. Now coming to terminal voltage across E2. Terminal voltage across E2. So since in the branch of E2 there is no current existence, there is no existence of current is not flowing from A and B, neither from A to B nor from B to A. So that means no potential difference will be recorded either across the external resistance of R2 given in this branch, nor across the internal resistance of 1 ohm suggested in battery E2. So only terminal voltage will be its EMF only, which is equal to 12 volt. Got it? And finally the terminal voltage of E3, from positive to negative it will be plus 24 volt, and current is going negative to positive, so it will be 24 volt minus current which we have got as 24 by 13 into internal resistance 1. Got it? So here it will be 24 into 12 by 13 volt. This much will be the potential difference across the terminals of the battery E3. So that means across all three batteries we have got the terminal voltage. Now we need to know the potential difference. So the EMF of the battery used here in this branch E2 will be the potential difference between A and B, because the resistors placed here in the branch of A to B cannot read any potential difference because no current is flowing through that branch. We know that in case of a resistor, potential difference across it can only be countable when current flows through it. So as because no current, so no PD across R2, no PD will be recorded across internal resistance. So that means VAB should be equal to the value of E2 only, that is 12 volt. VAB should be the value of E2 only, that is equal to 12 volt. Okay, and that between B and D, from B to D, see from B to D I can go through this connected path. So potential difference from B to D will be I2 R2 plus I2 R2, that means twice of I2 R2. So 2 times I2 is 24 by 13 into R2 resistance is 4. So this must be the 24 into 8 by 13 volt will be the potential difference. Okay, 24 into 8 divided by 13 volt will be the potential difference between B and D. You can calculate this VBD using this path also, then also you will get the same answer only. Okay. Well, this is the question. We have to find the ammeter reading. Find ammeter reading and what? Only ammeter reading. Find the ammeter reading only. It's a very well-known circuit, very simple one. If you watch it carefully, if you watch the circuit carefully, I think you can recognize it. Watching it carefully, you can recognize it, what actually this circuit is. A very well-known one, very simple circuit. 5 ampere is correct. It is 0.5 ampere. Sriram, do you understand this? Why it is 0.5 ampere? Because this is nothing but other than the balanced Wheatstone bridge circuit. If you name it like this, for example, this is A, this is B, means all these 3 points are B only. No resistor is there in between these 2 points. Here also same, so all these 3 points must be same in potential, and this point's potential must be at the potential of the negative terminal of the battery, right? So the battery negative terminal must have the potential of B and the positive terminal must have the potential of A, and in that way we can mark C and D as 2 other points. So across 6 volt you can see from A we can connect it like this: one resistor to C, another resistor is connected to D, right? Then C and D are further connected. C is again connected to one point B and D is further connected to one point B, and our ammeter is placed at this branch, right? So across this 6 volt battery is connected between A and B like this. This is the simple structure we understand very easily. So here it is given 4 ohm, it is 6 ohm, this is 5 ohm, this is 8 ohm, and this is 12 ohm. So see, R1 by R2 should be equal to R3 by R4, because you can see 4 by 6 equal to 8 by 12. If you solve it, it is 2 by 3. If you solve it, this also 2 by 3. So ratio of these two resistors are equal to ratio of these two resistors. So when this happens, this implies that potential or difference between C and D must be 0. Potential difference between C and D must be 0. That means no current will be basically flowing through the 5 ohm capacitor connected between C and D. So what we can do, instead of keeping it in the circuit, I can remove that resistor of 5 ohm. So once I remove the resistor of 5 ohm, both the branch are at 6 volt potential difference. So this 4 ohm and 8 ohm, 4 ohm and 8 ohm are in series. So potential difference between AB, okay, that will be current into resistance. So the upper branch, the branch in which ammeter is connected, that branch is having resistance, effective resistance 4 plus 8 series, that is 12, and potential difference is 6. So current in that branch is 6 by 12, that is 0.5 ampere. So current passing through the branch of 8 ohm is 0.5 ampere. That means ammeter reading is 0.5 ampere. Is that clear? Okay, first of all you have to find the equivalent resistance. Find RAB, that is equivalent resistance between A and B, and if these points, if I marked as AB, you have to find VAB and also find this current I. Okay, find I if VAB is equal to 16 volt. If VAB is given 16 volt, right, in case of applied voltage is 16 volt, then what will be the current I marked in an 8 ohm branch? In an 8 ohm branch, what will be the current? And apart from that, apart from calculating that current I, we also need to know two more informations. One is the R equivalent between A and B, and another one is the potential difference across 16 ohm resistor. Potential difference across 16 ohm resistor. We need to find RAB. You can simplify the circuit as I have suggested in other problems, in the previous problem. Important one is give naming to the junctions to simplify according to our general structure drawing. Okay, so based on general structure drawing you can simplify it. Can we mark the points again? If I say this is B and this terminal is B, so basically small b is nothing but other than capital B only, so I can mark all these points as capital B. If this point is A, so I can mark these 2 points A. Then only this point is different something, let it be P. Okay, so the structure suggests us from point A we can connect it to point P. Okay, and then from capital A we can connect it to small a also. So that means I have drawn this 4 ohm, I have drawn this 8 ohm. Okay, now between P and A there is one resistor of 5 ohm. This is also drawn. Now P to B and A to B, I can connect P to B and A to B. P to B is 8 ohm and A to B is 16 ohm. So that means these two are also drawn, and the last one is directly connected between A and B. So there is one resistor connected straightway between A and B, and then across A and B the applied voltage, which is of 16 volt, connected like this. Got my point? This is the simplified structure of the given drawing. So again we can see there is a balanced Wheatstone bridge arrangement. 4 by 8 is equal to 8 by 16. R1 by R2 is equal to R3 by R4. 4 by 8 ratio 1:2. 8 by 16, that is also 1:2. So therefore we can say the ratio of this two is equal to ratio of this two. So it's a condition of balanced Wheatstone bridge. That does mean according to the structure we can say potential difference between P and A must be 0. Potential difference between P and A must be 0 due to balanced Wheatstone bridge arrangement. So in many of the circuit, you will be given the balanced Wheatstone bridge condition, but that will be represented in a different structure. But actually, if you can redraw it as per our general understanding to visualize a balanced Wheatstone bridge, then we can easily reach to the conclusive idea. So here, therefore, P and A must be the same potential. So potential of P must be equal to potential of A. That means again, as per concept, we can omit this. We can omit this 5 ohm resistor connected between P and A. We can remove this 5 ohm resistor connected between P and A. That does mean now the effective resistance counting will be easy. 4 and 8 series 12, and here 8 and 16 24 are parallel. So that will be, that effective value R1 will be 4 plus 8 12 into 24 divided by 12 plus 24. Primarily these two branches are parallel to each other, so the result will be 12 into 24 divided by their addition, that is 36. So here it will be 12 3 and then it is 8. So R1 means I am talking about this value is simplified as R1. So that R1 is 8 ohm, and that 8 ohm is in parallel with another 8 ohm. So therefore RAB will be 8 by 2. Two equal resistors in parallel means their effective resistance will be half of that. So it is simply 4 ohm. So 4 ohm is the R equivalent. 4 ohm is the R equivalent here between A and B. This was the first part that we had to know. So that R equivalent is 4 ohm. Now we had to calculate VAB, this A to B, right, across 16 ohm. So across 16 ohm is this, right? So to know the potential difference across this 16 ohm, we need to know the current flowing this branch. So as this is a 16 volt battery and this branch in which we can see 16 ohm resistor, that branch effective resistance is 24 ohm. So we can consider I2, for example here, I2 in that branch. So that value of I2 will be applied voltage divided by resistance. 16 volt is the applied voltage divided by resistance in this branch in which we need to know the part of the potential. So that will be equal to 2 by 3. 16 by 24 will be 2 by 3 ampere. So therefore VAB, though I asked it at between small a and small b, so small b is nothing but other than capital B only. So this VAB will be the current I2 into 16 ohm resistor. So this is 2 by 3 as I2, that into 16 means 32 by 3 volt. 32 by 3 volt is appearing as the potential difference calculation across 16 ohm. Potential difference between A and B, that is across 16 ohm, is coming 32 by 3 volt, right? And the third part we had to know, that was simply that I between P and B. So in this branch we had marked I. So again that branch current will be due to the R effective of that branch. In the above branch, that is APB branch, R effective is just 12. So I required I will be 16 volt divided by effective resistance of that branch, which is 12 ohm. So it is 4 by 3. So I value is just 4 by 3 ampere. So these are the part values of the required term. So first we had to know the effective resistance that we have calculated as 4 ohm. Second part of our required value was VAB, that we got as 32 by 3 volt, and finally the current through 8 ohm, which is the value of I marked here. So that is 4 by 3 ampere. Is that clear? Sriram, Prathamesh. Okay. Note down it. Done? Okay. Well, so see here it is given that if Vmn is 25 volt. Okay, Vmn is 25 volt. If Vmn is equal to 25 volt, then find current in the segment CD. In the segment CD, you can see in the diagram CD segment. Okay, so what will be the current in this segment CD? We need to calculate that from this given arrangement of resistor network. See, whenever two points are simply connected by a conducting wire, whenever 2 points in a circuit are simply connected by a conducting wire, then we say that those 2 points connected by a conducting wire are at zero potential difference, but we say that term definitely for the steady state of the circuit. But before reaching the steady state, definitely some current might have flown through the connector, through that path, so that finally it becomes what? Zero potential difference across that connection. If we can see from the diagram, no resistor is there in the connector C to D, no applied potential difference is given in the connector between C and D, but still if it is asked that what is the current in the segment CD, that means once you are connecting the point C and D, and after connecting those 2 points, when it finally comes to zero potential drop, right? Initially they must have been some different potential difference, different potential at C and D may be possible. Okay, once you are connecting them, then finally they are coming to zero potential difference. So we need to understand that what will be the potential difference between D and C. That means before connecting D and C and after connecting D and C, what changes takes place. You must be knowing that similar type of problems we did it in capacitor circuit when there was switch in few branch in a circuit, right? And there were two cases. One case was relating to the potential difference across an open switch, right? And then after closing the switch, the argument of again PD across the switch connection and the charge flown through the switch after connecting it. So it is also a similar type of question. Instead of this direct wire, if you think about there is a switch, if I convert this question just inserting a switch in the connector between C and D. So if the switch is open, you can think in the previous idea, if S is open between C and D, okay, then obviously as this is a open branch, so I can say 2 and 1 and here 4 and 3 must be two parallel branches across 25 volt, isn't it? So then therefore current in this part and current in this part will be different when switch is open. So current I1 will be VPM, that is 25 divided by effective resistance. In that case they will be in series, so that means 2 and 1 series means 3. This is the value of I1, and similarly the value of I2 you can calculate again due to 25 volt by the resistor, which is 4 plus 3, that is 7. These are the two values of current in the individual branch when switch is open, right? So based on this value of current we can initially find some what? Potential difference. So what will be that potential difference? So that potential difference, initial potential difference VCD, can be calculated using any one of the connected path from C to D. For example, if I move this way, going this way, so it will be 1 I1 minus 3 I2, 1 I1 minus 3 I2. That will give us the potential difference between C and D across the switch when it was open. So value of I1 25 by 3 minus 3 into I2, that is 3 into 25 by 7. Is that clear? Simplifying this, taking 25 common, we can write down 7 minus 9 by 21. That means it is minus of 25 into 2 by 21. Got my point? Minus of 25 into 2 by 21, isn't it? So this is the potential difference from C to D. It is negative. That means obviously according to this calculation we can say VC is less than VD. So it is D, which is the higher potential difference, higher potential end D than that of C. Yes, could you follow this? Prathamesh and Sriram, potential of C is less than potential of D. based on this calculation. Then what happens after connecting it or after closing it? See, then the next arrangement can be done this way, that now we have closed it, which is the final circuit given to us. In that case, the final potential difference between C and D must be 0. We haven't changed the potential difference between M and N. Here it was 2 ohm, here it is 4 ohm, this is 1 ohm and 3 ohm. So finally we can write down, finally Vc is equal to Vd. So when Vc becomes equal to Vd, then what becomes the R effective? 2 and 4 are parallel now, and similarly 1 and 3 are parallel. So Rmn will become the series arrangement of effective of this 2 with this 2. So it is 2 into 4 by 6 plus 1 into 3 by 4. So that means 4 by 3 plus 3 by 4. So 16 plus 9 by 12 means it is 25 by 12 ohm. The new effective resistance between M and N, becomes 25 by 12 ohm. Now question arises, when this potential difference arises, then what are the individual currents for the same potential difference across Mn remains unchanged? What are the new currents now? If I say this is I1 dash, this is I2 dash, could you understand this? So potential difference when 25 by 12 ohm is the effective resistance now. So the main current which will be flowing here across this effective resistance, we can write down applied voltage was 25 volt divided by effective resistance, that is 25 by 12, means it will be 12 ampere. 12 ampere will be the main current. Got my point? That 12 ampere is now splitting into this two part between M and C, and that between M and D. Potential difference is same, so 12 ampere will now split into the ratio of the resistor. We know that when potential difference is constant, current splits inversely proportional to resistance. So resistance ratio will be 1:2. So current will be reciprocal, it will be 2:1. So that means 2/3 current will go through this. So out of 12 ampere, I1 dash will be 2/3 of 12. That means 8 ampere current will flow through 2 ohm, and I2 dash will be obviously rest of it, that is 4 ampere. Is it clear? Could you follow what I mean? So between M and C in the previous calculation we had seen I1 was 25 by 3, and now in that branch only I1 dash is flowing as 8 ampere. Clear? And between M and D in the previous case, the current which was flowing as 25 by 7, and now it is 4 ampere. So what do you think? One of them has lost current, where the other one has gained the current. Redistribution of current shows that if this is now 4 ampere, this is 8 ampere, and now going to this part, again between C and N or D and N, again the potential difference will be same. and now this time resistance ratio is 1:3. So current, that same 12 ampere current will now divide in the resistance ratio of 3:1. So in this part now it will be I1 double dash, and that I1 double dash in new calculation should be 3/4 of 12. That means 9 ampere. And in this branch, if I consider it I2 double dash, so that I2 double dash will become 1/4 of 12. That means it is simply 3 ampere. Now come to conclusion. Here it was coming 4 ampere, isn't it? Now listen it very carefully. In this branch, after closing it, in this branch I have calculated it 4 ampere. And from D onwards, it is going in this branch how much? 3 ampere. So at junction D, inflow current is 4 ampere, but here it is outgoing current, outflow from this junction is 3 ampere. So obviously 1 ampere must have flown from D to C this way. 1 ampere must have flown through D to C this way. You can make it junction rule here also. Here it was coming 8 ampere and going this way 9 ampere. That means definitely 1 ampere has been added at the junction C. So that means after closing the switch, which is the final situation, this is directly given here in our question. So the current which will be flowing through the connected DC will be 1 ampere. Got it? Was it a nice concept? Wasn't it a nice concept? We have done a similar question in our last topic, that is from capacitor combination circuit. So the same concept here we are doing it in a resistor, but the tricky part of this question is this part has been kept silent. Directly this part has been asked. So primary idea appears as if that as because there is no connection, no resistor is given in this connection, so general idea about the steady state says that these 2 points are same in potential, then how can there be a flow of charge? But the language or the tricky language is saying about that how much current is flowing through that branch means before reaching the steady state. Got it? Well, so these are the values given. This time the ammeter is said to be having resistance 3 ohm. Ammeter is also having resistance here, that is of 3 ohm. So then ammeter reading, we need to calculate ammeter reading provided there are two batteries, their EMF and internal resistance values are given. EMF values, internal resistance values are given, okay, and we have to find ammeter reading if the resistance of ammeter is said to be 3 ohm. From the diagram, I think you can find the external resistance, and there are two operating batteries, both are having the same potential difference, EMF values, and internal resistance are same potential difference. For both the batteries will be applicable here. That means we can consider same current drawn for both of them, because you can see external resistance will be common for both individual batteries, right? Both of them are kept parallel to each other, they are connected parallelly, and for them external resistance is same. So we can calculate R external. So for calculating R external, here you can see 3 and 1 are parallel and their result are in series with this 2 plus 2. So we can write down it is 2 plus 2 plus 3 by 4, right? These two are parallel, so their effective resistance will be 3 by 4, means it is 4 plus 3 by 4, so means it is 19 by 4 ohm. 19 by 4 ohm is R external in this circuit. So what we can do, if we draw current from both the batteries as I each, so here it will be 2I, right? Internal resistance is also given 1 ohm and EMF is given 2 volt. Then we can calculate the value of I, right, using loop rule. In one of the battery, EMF, internal resistance are, we are taking current here I, but in this part taking the entire external resistor as 1, which is of 19 by 4 ohm, right? And basically current is here I, and main in this branch it is 2I. So across the external resistance 2I and through the internal resistance it is I. So here we can write down the loop rule, that is 19 by 4 into 2I plus 1 into I, right, minus 2 volt will be 0. So that means this implies that we can write down it is 21 by 2 into I, that is equal to 2. So value of I comes 4 by 21 ampere. So the I value is 4 by 21 ampere. We are supposed to know the current in this branch. Here the main current is 2I, which assumed to be splitted in the individual parallel branches as I1 and I2. We know the resistance ratio 1:3, so current ratio will be reciprocal 3:1. So I2 will be, the required I2 will be, it will be 1/4 of the total current 2I. So that means it is 2I by 4 is simply I by 2. So calculation of I we get this 1 by 2 of 4 by 21 means it is 2 by 21 ampere. So the answer is 2 by 21 ampere will be the value of I2 flowing through the ammeter branch, whose resistance is said to be 3 ohm. So that means ammeter reading will be 2 by 21 ampere. Got this one? Whenever you will be asked to know the current in one of the parallel branches, so that current ratio will be reciprocal to the resistance ratio, and for that, to know the one out of the two parallel branches, you must always know the main effective current coming for that parallel branches. Okay.